The other major news, the coronavirus here in the U.S. and the state of emergency in Miami Beach. The crowds there defying curfews, police firing pepper balls. Miami with the highest positivity rate of any major metro area. And tonight, this number, 21 states now with new cases on the rise again. And the CDC director warning today that we are at a fork in the road, urging caution on the variants now spreading. Those young people defying the curfew, the more contagious variants at a very high level in Miami. And the race to vaccinate tonight, now 24 states moving to open eligibility to everyone 16 and up in the weeks leading up to the president's May 1st deadline for the whole country to do that. And now a fourth possible vaccine in the pipeline. AstraZeneca releasing results of their U.S.-based study showing it is 79% effective in preventing symptomatic infections and 100% effective at preventing hospitalizations. And tonight, this number, more than 82,556,000 people have now received at least one dose. That's 32% of adults in this country. So what about this newest vaccine and those concerning reports overseas? The results of this U.S. study tonight, far more promising. Dr. Jha with us, and ABC's Victor Akendo from Miami now.
Tonight, a state of emergency in Miami Beach after a weekend of chaos.
City of Miami Beach is currently under a state of emergency.
Mostly maskless crowds from out of town packing famed Ocean Drive, overwhelming police.
You are commanded to immediately and peacefully disperse.
Throngs of young adults defying a new 8 o'clock curfew. Police then using pepper balls to break up the crowd. Some trampled in the stampede. These scenes prompting city leaders to extend the curfew and close causeways into Miami Beach from Thursdays to Sundays through mid-April. Some are accusing the police of using unnecessary force on a predominantly black crowd.
I think that the response to crowds of black people doing whatever they're doing always tends to engender a little bit more aggression, a little bit more force.
But police insist they're targeting unlawful behavior.
We police behavior. Everybody should look forward to coming down here and again, enjoying that, but just do it within the confines of the rules. That's all we're asking people to do.
It comes at a pivotal point. Miami is seeing the highest positivity rate of large metro areas in the country at 9%, and cases are rising in 21 states.
We are at a critical point in this pandemic, a fork in the road, where we as a country must decide which path we are going to take.
On average, 2.5 million Americans are now getting vaccinated every day, a record 6 million over the weekend, and access expanding by the day. At least 24 states making the vaccine available to residents 16 and older in the weeks leading up to the president's May 1st deadline.
I'm just so happy to have my shot. I really am.
And tonight, promising results from the U.S. trial of a fourth vaccine from AstraZeneca. The company reporting the vaccine was 79% effective at preventing symptomatic infection and 100% effective at preventing severe disease and hospitalization.
The Data and Safety Monitoring Board identified no specific safety concerns related to the vaccines.
After several European countries briefly halted use of the AstraZeneca vaccine over concerns about a handful of blood clots, the U.S. trial found no increased risk or serious side effects.
This is a highly effective vaccine that's easy to use, easy to distribute around the world, and has an important role to play in curtailing the pandemic around the world.
And so let's get right to Victor Akendo from Miami tonight. And Victor, take us through the possible timeline here. How soon, potentially, could AstraZeneca get emergency use authorization here in the U.S.?
David, the company plans on applying within the next 2 to 3 weeks, which means they could get the green light from the FDA by the end of May. Keep in mind that with 3 vaccines already authorized, the Biden administration promised enough vaccine for all American adults by the end of May. So this AstraZeneca vaccine would be on top of that supply. David?
All right, Victor Akendo there on the ground for us. Victor, thank you. And with news on the AstraZeneca vaccine tonight, we know many of you at home might have questions. So let's bring in Dr. Ashish Jha, Dean of the Brown University School of Public Health. Dr. Jha, always good to have you here with us. I want to get right to the news on AstraZeneca. They've released these results from this large clinical trial in the U.S., I believe about 32,000 participants. And back to those numbers we heard from Victor, 79% effective in preventing symptomatic infections. They say none of the volunteers developed severe symptoms. None had to be hospitalized. We know this particular vaccine was halted in parts of Europe temporarily amid those rare reports of potential blood clots. Regulators in Europe now saying it is safe. These new findings here in the U.S., do they bolster that?
Yeah, David, thank you for having me on. They do bolster that. It's really good news. These are fantastic results. 80% effective for all age groups, 100% against severe disease, no severe adverse events in the vaccine arm. I got to feel really good about this.
You know, I do wonder, Dr. Jha, looking at the timeline here, they say they could apply for emergency use authorization in the coming weeks, that they could be up and running here in the U.S. sometime in May. But we've already got those other 3 vaccines. President Biden has said enough vaccine for all adults by the end of May. And I can't believe I'm asking this a year into this pandemic, but will we need this 4th vaccine?
That's a great question, David. I think the answer is most likely not. We're going to have so much vaccines by May that I have actually been pushing for using what we need to here, but we can probably start shipping a lot of these out to the rest of the world. We're going to have plenty of vaccines in the U.S. by May.
I can't let you go without asking you about those crowds, those images we're reporting on tonight as well. Obviously, the crackdown in Miami. These are the extremes around the country. But we do have states with cases on the rise. How concerned are you about the new variants still on the move? And when we see these images, this fatigue setting in across the U.S.?
You know, David, I am worried. We have been stuck at about 50,000 cases, actually going up a little bit across the country now. We are so close to that time period where anybody who's high risk can get vaccinated, probably 3-4 weeks away. If we can just hold on for another month, it'll get much safer to do these things. And I want people to just hold tight for a very little bit longer.
All right, important words from Dr. Jha tonight. Doctor, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.